Well, hello there. Welcome back to the channel. My name is James, and here at 20th and 21st Movies, we are about all things cinema. Well, still here in Central Florida on spring break. Had a wonderful time at Universal Studios Florida yesterday. I tell you what, it's been a long time since I've been at that park, and a lot has changed. They have put in some amazing rides at that park, and we had a blast there yesterday. I think we did the the New York tour with Jimmy Fallon, which I highly recommend that. That is a really cool experience. We did the Transformers 3D ride, which was great. And there was a live action show called the Bourne Stuntacular that I highly recommend. So if you get to Universal Studios Florida, definitely do the race through New York with Jimmy Fallon, do the Transformers ride, and definitely check out that Bourne Stuntacular show. It is absolutely amazing. So really enjoyed that. But just wanted to share my thoughts today on a Criterion Collection release that came out last week as of the time that I'm recording this video. And it is a 4K release from Criterion, and it's The Last Waltz on 4K. This is the film from 1978, directed by director Martin Scorsese, and it is a film that chronicles the last concert from a group called The Band. And they were a group that began, I believe, in the 1960s. And they did a lot of work with Bob Dylan. They were able to partner with him for a few years and during different shows in the mid-60s. And then they branched off separately and did their own thing and their own tours for a while. And then they got to a point in the late 70s or mid-70s where around 1976 they were coming up on their last show. And this was the last show that they did in Winterland. Dropped my Criterion case here. See, where I'm on the hammock here and it's a little bit messy. But anyway, their last show was in 1976, and they did it in Winterland Theater in San Francisco. And they wanted to have their concert recorded. So they asked Martin Scorsese to get involved, and that was probably the best decision that they could have ever made. Because what Martin Scorsese was able to do with this film is take the recording of a concert, which was their original conception. They wanted to have their last concert recorded. Martin Scorsese turned it into a glorious movie. Folks, this film, The Last Waltz, and yes, I will call this a film because this is more than a concert. This is not just the recording of a concert. This is a musical motion picture directed by Martin Scorsese, and it is an absolutely phenomenal one that I highly recommend. I will tell you that right up front. This is one of the best concert movies that you will ever see. This concert movie absolutely rocks. Now, I will tell you, I had never heard of the band before I popped in this Criterion Collection release. But I gotta tell you, I become a fan of the band watching this feature because the music is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, they have some just great songs on here. Up on Cripple Creek, The Wait, Stage Fright, Manish Boy, The Shape I'm In. And they have so many guest performers. And I'll put up a picture listing the guests because they show in the credits all the guests that come on stage during this concert, and they are absolutely phenomenal. The guests include Bob Dylan alongside other amazing musical performers, and they all do an amazing job. And what I love about this release is I love the special features. I love how Martin Scorsese talks about the conception of this film and how they were thinking about putting it together, how they originally thought about shooting it in 16 millimeter and just doing a basic recording, and then they decided to make it a much more cinematic experience, and they shot it in 35 millimeter, and they really put a lot of high production values into it in terms of bringing in different sets, bringing in, we're really dressing up the Winterland Theater to make it a very nice visual experience, at least as best as possible given the budget that they had to work with. And then also, very importantly, working with some of the leading cinematographers of the day, including uh, uh, Vilmos Sigmund and several other just phenomenal cinematographers, all making this, like I said before, just a tremendous cinematic experience. This is not just a concert, this is a musical motion picture, and Martin Scorsese did an absolutely phenomenal job directing this feature. So I can go on and on about how awesome The Last Waltz is, but when you see this film, you really understand what I'm talking about, because the way they shot this film, it was shot just like a movie. And when you have these famous cinematographers who are involved, and the way they shot the film with each performance, and it's just something you absolutely have to experience for yourself. The best way I can describe it is, they would start off a song, and then you'd have a performer start to sing, and the way the camera movements, captured the performances of the singers and everyone on stage was just phenomenal. Great camera movements, very cinematic in the way all of the action was captured. There was a lot of thought that went into capturing the sound just the right way, and really making the overall experience one of the best concert experiences you will ever see captured on film. That's what The Last Waltz is. It is absolutely phenomenal, and I simply cannot say enough great things about it. And what also makes this a great film is that you're not only seeing the film, the actual concert, but you're also it's also interlaced with interviews with the band. So you have one of the leading players, Robbie Robertson. Yes, Robbie Robertson was interviewed throughout this picture. So this picture runs at 117 minutes. It's from 1978, and during the concert, you'll have certain breakpoints, at which time you see Martin Scorsese interviewing Robbie Robertson and other members of the band, and it's just so informative hearing their thoughts, hearing the band's thoughts. Oh, here's some scenery of the area that I'm in, this resort place that we're in. Very nice resort. I'm just hanging out here on this hammock. But anyway, Martin Scorsese is interviewing these band members, and they do a great job talking about their experiences, what led them up to this point, their experiences working with Bob Dylan, how they came together as a band initially, and just their philosophy, to music and to their unique sound is, and also just how they came to be named the band. So you hear a lot of great things from Robbie Robertson and the band members that Martin Scorsese interviewed during this film. So what else can I say? Scorsese, I have a note here that says that Scorsese was inspired by Jazz on a Summer's Day, which is the 1959 film that was about the 1958 Newport Film Festival, featuring Louis Armstrong, Mahalia Jackson, and Chuck Berry. And that really inspired how he would shoot The Last Waltz. And the way that Martin Scorsese shot The Last Waltz with these cinematographers in 35 millimeter is what makes this concert film one of the best concert films you'll ever see. So that is really about the best that I can state it. It is an incredible time capsule of a film. Again, it's from 1976, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. You do get a few outside scenes in the beginning, but most of the action takes place right there at the concert. And one of the things that Martin Scorsese talked about was the fact that he didn't want to focus a lot on the people in the audience. He wanted to focus on the performers on stage. I want to focus on what's going on stage. And they do an amazing job capturing that action. So The Last Waltz is awesome. I mean, if you're asking me, hey, do you recommend The Last Waltz? Absolutely, 100%. It is that good. And I'm going to talk a minute about this 4K. How does this look on 4K, and how does it sound on 4K? Well, you get a new 4K digital restoration supervised by Martin Scorsese, and you get a 5.1 surround DTS Master HD audio soundtrack. To cut to the chase, this this concert film, this movie looks amazing on 4K. Now, this is a film from 1976, so you're not going to mistake this for a modern day film. Okay, this is not going to be as absolutely tack sharp as, you know, No Time to Die or something that has recently come out. It's not like that, but it is such an incredibly beautiful restoration. This image looks so clean. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, do I remember seeing anything unclean about this image? And I have to say, no, I don't. I think this image was cleaned up almost perfectly, because I can't remember one thing negative to say about if the image was not, I mean, the image was absolutely clean, is all I'm trying to say. It was totally clean, beautifully restored. It is vibrant, it is rich, it is organic. There's a lot of beautiful detail. When you see, and it really helps you appreciate the cinematic work that went into place. When you see the performers come into view, they just look perfect. They look spot on. The facial detail, they really pop out on the screen and just come to life. And this picture, I simply cannot tell you how good this picture looks. It looks clean, it is rich, it is organic, it's detailed, it's vibrant, it has depth and clarity. It looks absolutely phenomenal. The restoration work for The Last Waltz is A1, top-notch, phenomenal, and part of what makes this concert experience so incredibly enjoyable to watch. So highly recommended. The 5.1 audio also comes across really nicely. I was able to get the sound from the various channels in my system. And with a film like this, a concert film where you've got sound, you know, the sound stage, you know, the way that the soundtrack was managed really took advantage of all the activity in the sound stage, and I really, really appreciated that. I mean, this concert sound is just phenomenal. The music, the numbers, the songs are just amazing, and the performances from both the band and all of their contributors is something you just have to see. And when you see the list of contributors that I put up on the screen, you'll know what I'm talking about. I mean, they all did an absolutely phenomenal job. So from an AV standpoint, this concert film in 4K with this 5.1 sound is A1, top notch. You will absolutely enjoy it. And for me, it is one of the highlights. I'll just come out and say it's one of the highlights of the year from Criterion. This release could end up in my top 10 at the end of the year. So if that gives you any indication of how good The Last Waltz is, that should give you an idea. Now, we got a long way to go in this year, so who knows? But so far, this edition from Criterion is very high on my list. That's how good it is. One of the best concert films you will ever see. As far as the special features, here, I'll let you see this here and freeze this for a moment. Hopefully you're able to see this. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty good on special features. You do get a couple of audio commentaries featuring Scorsese, members of the band. You do get, as well as some of the performers that performed along with the band. You do get a new interview with Martin Scorsese. You get a documentary from 2002 about the making of the band. I mean, the making of The Last Waltz, excuse me. You get some outtakes, which I thought was interesting, some extra footage from the concert. You get an interview from 1978 with Scorsese and Robbie Robertson on a talk show that was really good. So that's showing them around the time that this film was made or shortly thereafter, because what happened was they shot this concert, right? But then they came back several months later and actually shot the actual interviews. So the interviews were shot probably almost a year after the actual concert was shot. So that's an interesting aspect of this, and they were able to put it all together and make this incredible film. So, and plus on the inside, you'll look in here, of course you get the two discs. You get the 4K Ultra HD disc and you get the Blu-ray, and you have this nice little insert here with this nice little art. So I really like that. Not going to do much of an edit on this video. This is a spring break edition of The Last Waltz 4K Criterion Collection review. So we're just taking it easy this week. Inside here, you've got long Hard Road. This is an essay from Amanda Petrushuk, and this is an excellent essay. And you just have a nice pamphlet here with a lot of nice information about this particular release, including the restoration and everything. But the restoration was just phenomenal. I mean, this was a 4K scan of the original camera negative, and it looks absolutely phenomenal, as I stated. So what can I say? I mean, this is overall just a phenomenal release. I highly recommend it. This will be a great release to pick up on the next Barnes & Noble sale or Amazon sale in July, and I simply cannot recommend it enough. Trying to see if there's anything else in the notes. Of course, this film also influenced, based on the cinematic way that he shot this film influenced the way that Martin Scorsese would go on to shoot Raging Bull, starring Robert De Niro. And he actually shot this film, The Last Waltz, in between shooting New York, and Raging Bull. So it was in between those productions, and it was just one of those. This was a period of time when Martin Scorsese was shooting feature films and also doing documentaries, and this happens to be one of those great documentaries from Martin Scorsese. It's called The Last Waltz. Criterion has done an amazing job restoring this on 4K in a absolutely amazing package with this 4K restored 4K UHD disc. You also have a Blu-ray in here. You've got a great pamphlet included in here, 2 commentaries, great special features, and the actual presentation of this is one of the best presentations that you will probably see this year of a film of this vintage. It's that good. So The Last Waltz comes highly recommended. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen The Last Waltz, and if so, what you think about this film. And also let me know, what are some of your favorite films from Martin Scorsese? And what are your favorite documentaries from this legendary director? Let me know that in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time with the movies. Peace.